Geeks Assemble! What's up, everybody? The GWW Capes crew is back for another brand new episode, talking comics, movies, TV, superheroes, everything you know and love. I'm your host, the Comics Kid, Casey, EIC of thegww.com. I'm joined by two awesome hosts tonight. Let's get right into it. Brad Bell, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm glad you didn't detonate my Suicide Squad collar so that I could still be a part of the team and come back to the podcast. I've been, kind of doing my own thing on the Confirmed Epic podcast and getting as much stuff up on Geeks Worldwide as I can as far as podcasts go. But it's great to be back on here, Casey.
My finger is on the button, Brad, so you're still in your probationary period.
I don't want to pull a slip knot to hang myself, so I'm going to do the best I can.
Brad, we have a very special guest tonight, not one of our normal co-hosts. Instead, we have a special co-host, something we're going to start trying to do a little bit more regularly, to have special co-hosts instead of straight-up interviews. So let's welcome Nathan Thompson from That's Entertaining. That's Entertaining, Ordinary Gentlemen podcast, all kinds of things. Nathan, please introduce yourself better than I ever could.
Well, hey guys, it's good to be here tonight with you, and hello to your listeners as well. I am on a couple other podcasts. I do That's Entertaining. That's my original podcast that I started. We talk about movies, games, geeky kind of stuff there. That has an offshoot called The League of Entertaining Gentlemen. We talk about comics monthly. We've been doing that for about 5 months now, so it's a new podcast. And then I'm over at playsomevideogames.com. I write articles, and I'm on the website over there, as well as their podcast, talking video games, so all kinds of stuff.
Nathan, do you have kids, or are you married?
I am married, but I have 2 dogs, no kids.
No kids.
Smart man. I have 3 dogs.
Keep it that way. Otherwise, you're going to drop one of those, for sure.
Nathan has that smooth radio voice, man.
Beat me to it.
I'm sorry.
Being a hardy over here. Nathan, welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you don't mind, but we're just going to get right into the nitty-gritty of the show because we're all so pumped to talk about the Suicide Squad. But we're going to say that at the very end, so we're going to talk spoilers, so if you haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, stay with us till the very end. We'll give you a fair warning. But until then, Brad, let's talk a little bit of news before we get into Week in Geek. What do we got?
It hadn't been like a really news-heavy week, because everybody kind of, spilled it all as far as the big companies at San Diego Comic-Con. But there are, a few news tidbits. We'll just run through them real quick, and I'd just be interested to see what you guys think about them. And then we'll talk about a very epic picture that Mr. Casey Walsh put out there today on the Geeks Worldwide Twitter feed. But I guess this qualifies as news. Do either one of you still watch Gotham? I don't.
I do, unfortunately.
Okay.
I fell off episode 3. I was like, I can't handle this show anymore. I can't do it. And he still hasn't gotten the mustache. I would have came back if at the end of season 1, the last shot was him closing the fucking a mirror, and he had a mustache. I would have been all so fucking in. The mirror in your bathroom,
You wanted Bruce to hit puberty. That was your
not
threshold.
Bruce.
He wants Gordon to have a mustache.
Jim Gordon.
I'm just picturing Bruce goes into the bathroom. Alfred's knocking on the door. Master Wayne.
Although I do predict that show next season, not this season, but the season after, hits a fucking time jump, and they're just all right, it's a Batman show now.
I can see that.
I totally because with Jeff Johns in charge, I think he has a much more I don't give a fuck attitude, and he's a smart enough guy too to where if he wanted I really think that his plan is yeah, let's just let everybody that has a DC property do whatever they want, use whatever characters you want, I don't care, because my fucking Infinity War is going to be Infinite Crisis. So when a time comes and we can make that mega movie, we can bring in TV Batman, movie Batman, fucking TV, we can bring in all those characters in one place and do this fucking giant fucking movie that no one's ever seen before. Part of me thinks that's his ultimate plan.
I'm gonna hold off my geekasm on that big news that may never happen. That's wishful thinking. And then instead, I'll tease you with this epic news, and that is that Killer Croc and Harley Quinn, along with every other person in the Batman mythos, will appear in the next season of Gotham. You excited about that?
Johns is building the fucking multiverse. He's doing it.
But besides that, we have a premiere date for Star Wars Rebels Season 3. This is coming on Saturday, September 24th at 9:30 Eastern.
So
Yeah,
that fucking last episode where I always fuck up her name, Brad. What's her name?
Is it Ahsoka?
Ahsoka.
Tano?
There you go. I just want to call her like a Japanese like beer.
Sapporo. She's
Saki.
Sapporo Tano.
Yes. Anyways, her fight between her and Vader and that fucking last like moment was fucking epic, and it totally leaves the door open like she could technically like, come back if they really wanted her to. But I don't know. Like that was such an emotional episode, and I'm so excited to see what they do for season 3 and Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, that's very exciting. They got the whole book coming out too. What about you, Nate? Are you a big Star Wars guy as far as outside of the movies, the shows, and the books?
Well, if you can't tell by my Twitter handle at Sith Nightmare,
Okay, I didn't know it.
absolutely love Star Wars. I've been a fan as long as I can remember. But yeah, I super pumped about Rebels as well. I'm excited to see what they do with Grand Admiral Thrawn. I don't know what the context of that book is going to be. I've heard that it's going to be kind of a before you see him in Rebels book, but I'm not sure. But again, my only problem with Rebels is that it's on Disney XD, and it absolutely sucks to try to watch something off of Disney XD if you don't have cable.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of hard to find. They really, and even on cable, it's behind like another paywall.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think you have to have like the premium cable to even like get it. So
Guys, you just gotta sell your soul to DirecTV, then you call immediately.
yeah, I already have, buddy. I'm fucking right there with you.
But you gotta threaten that you're gonna be a cord cutter, get the money knocked off your bill, get them the movie up to the next package. But no, I'm excited about this, man. That was a big knock, when they kind of wiped out the EU, if you will. A lot of Thrawn fans were very upset. So I think this is gonna. Well, they got their work cut out for them.
But how does this bode for the movies? Because I think that's a wasted character to use on Rebels, because he would be such a fucking epic like movie moment character like to have in a movie. I think they're kind of throwing him to the side by putting him on Rebels a little bit.
He'll be in the movie though, one of the offshoots.
I think so too. I agree with Nate. They have said they will not back away from using TV characters in movies, but it probably won't necessarily be the Skywalker story, right?
Right.
So
let's hope.
Yeah. Well, let's hope. A hope for Thrawn, a new hope. All right. Man of Steel sequel is coming from Warner Brothers. Now, this was something that Danny B kind of sent out in the Geeks Worldwide offices today, and I looked up the story immediately because I'm one of the few people who actually enjoyed Man of Steel. Me and Zack Snyder's mom, and that was it. But yeah, Man of Steel 2 is coming from Warner Brothers. That's all it says on the internet. There's no date. There's no, we're working on a story. Do you guys think this movie ever happens or no? What do you think?
I think it does. I think they're fucking balls deep in this point. They don't have any other franchises that they can bank on. Harry Potter is putting out a play. So I mean, they're looking at another 5 years before that movie comes out. Someone called that play it'll be the Force Awakens of Harry Potter, like when they finally make a movie out of it or whatever. But yeah, I just don't think they don't have nothing else to sell. And is Skull Island there? No, that's Universal, right?
Yes, Universal. Okay. King Kong.
Yeah, so I mean, what else does WB have to put out there to make a franchise on? They have nothing.
Lord of the Rings is over too.
I think they're just gonna keep fucking like trying, and hopefully one of them fucking does something. I don't know.
Well, Casey,
one of them still looks good. Like I don't like it still looks good.
Casey, talk about that picture you tweeted out earlier, because I just saw this before we went on the air, and I'm excited about it.
Okay, so it's probably fan made. It turns out a lot of people are saying it's a really, really good fan made edit, but nonetheless, it shows. It looks like concept art. It's fucking great. Like I said, if it's fan made, the guy WB should be hiring this guy like on the spot right now. But it basically looks like Superman. It's mullet Superman. I don't know how to describe it. If you put like a bad Nick Cage wig on like Henry Cavill, like that's what it would look like. But it's Superman. He's in like his black, like Superman costume from Death of Superman, and it looks like mullet Superman from Justice League. But once again, it sounds like it's more likely than not fan made.
Did you see this pic, Nate?
I'm looking at it right now, trying to decipher it out and see if I like it or not.
The thing
It's
that jumps out about me, number one, is it's a picture of a picture, because you can
My
see
favorite.
the reflection of like a light in a like an off-source light in the corner down there. So someone is taking a picture of something else. So that's what kind of like actually makes it feel more real to me. Because like, why would you, if you were making a fan-made thing, why wouldn't you just put it up? But once again, I'm not a fucking photo investigator. I don't know.
his neck looks huge in that picture.
Yeah, it looks like Bill Goldberg's neck.
It's definitely concept art, if anything. But like I said, it sounds like it's fan-made. So just putting that out there. Take
I like
with a grain of salt.
They did a redesign with Superman where he had this kind of mullet hair like in 1994. It was, I believe, 93 or 94, and that was very brief, and there's probably a reason. But we've never been ashamed to run with concept art stories here, or fake concept art stories on Geeks Worldwide. So we have no shame. It may be real, it may be not, but at least you heard it here. But that pretty much really wraps it up for the news items of the week. I guess this will have something to do with what we'll talk about later. But Jared Leto's like pissed off about how he was handled in Suicide Squad. So that will give us something to talk about later when we discuss that film.
Yeah, he should be probably.
I agree.
All right. So let's talk about comics then.
Sounds good.
Sorry, I have a 4-year-old interjecting. All right.
I'm not 4.
Oh, whatever. You're
She's
5.
5, Casey.
I don't know how old my kid is.
Right.
Oh,
you
man.
failed him once.
Okay, Brad. What's your weekend geek looking like this week?
Well, I had a few things. One collectible thing and one viewing and one comic. I've been reading more trades lately, and this week it's DC, but actually published under Vertigo. This is Dark Knight, a true Batman story. It's written by Paul Dini, and the art is by Mr. Rizzo, Risso, Eduardo Rizzo. Probably butchering that name, but man, this is my favorite comic of 2016. Individual issues are a graphic novel. I'd heard good things about it. I heard about it on another podcast. I bought it for $12 on InStockTrades.com. And it's basically the story of Paul Dini's life and his battle with depression. And a lot of that depression was caused from an assault that he was unfortunately on the bad side of, which there's only bad side of assaults, but when he was working on Batman the Animated Series, those of you that don't know, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm are the minds behind the Batman the Animated Series in the 90s that we all grew up loving. But what's so cool about this is when he's kind of facing a negative moment, like the Joker will pop up and he'll discourage him in his head, but Batman's always pushing him. It really spoke to my heart of why I read comics, why I watch superhero movies and TV shows, even though there's a ton of them out now. It's the inspiration of positivity and hope we draw from these characters. Have you guys heard of this book? Have either one of y'all read it?
I heard about it.
I haven't picked it up yet, but yeah, I've been following it for a while because he was on Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman. I think he was talking about it on there.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't know it came out yet.
It's new. I think it's like 3 weeks old, maybe.
Yeah, it came out I guess 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, barely a month. I highly recommend. I mean, I rate this an epic of 5 out of 5. So please check it out.
I think it's hard to find too because, like I said, like Brad said, it's a Vertigo print technically, so it's not under DC, and I just don't think. And because it's a graphic novel as well, it's not readily available as it should be, probably.
Yeah, I was looking for it in Books A Million, which they usually have a decent selection of trades around here, but I couldn't find it in there. I was going to pay $25 for it, but like I said, found it for $12 online. Speaking of Batman and Harley Quinn, I got a quick story I want to tell you guys and our listeners out there. I had a Guardians of the Galaxy Tyler Stout Mondo vinyl record. It used to sit right back there on that back wall. But I traded it. And I traded it from a guy from the great Facebook page, Mondo Trader. And I got this, and it's pretty cool. I'm trying to hold it up to the camera. I know people can't see this who are listening to us on iTunes or SoundCloud, but it is basically Batman the Animated Series vinyl with Harley Quinn art by artist Matt Taylor. And the thing about this, I thought I was getting a full-size vinyl. So, like, I'm super stoked. I go out to Hobby Lobby and get a vinyl frame, but this is like a 7-inch vinyl. So it's just kind of laying on the bookshelf. But it's cool. Harley's laying here, and she's got her records behind her. On the back, you have her hyenas and stuff. And, like, I hadn't opened it. It's still sealed. Just like a cool hot pink record. So that's kind of cool. I've been watching.
On it? What's the music on it?
What's
Or what is on it?
All right. Get ready.
It's her fucking screaming like fucking Yoko Ono.
All right. There's a total of 3 minutes of music on this vinyl. All right. Side A, you get main titles coming in at 1:02. Then you get end credits coming in at 34 seconds. All right. Side B, you get alternate beginning 48 seconds and end credits alternate ending 54 seconds.
So it must be the animated series music then.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm not going to open it. I mean, I'm just going to probably hang on to it. But it's pretty cool. I would rather have the poster, but that was like $300. So I'm not. Plus, these walls are filled. My wife won't let me put another poster up on the wall. But other than that, man, I started watching just like everybody else in America who's a geek or semi-geek or grew up or was born in the 80s, Stranger Things, which I know a lot of us have been watching. I'm only 2 episodes in. It came out when I was on vacation. I had to go to a workshop for work the week after vacation, so I'm just now getting into it. It's weird because I got a 4K TV, and it's really weird watching something in the 80s that's meant to be like VHS retro in 4K. So here this retro intro, and it's like pristine. I mean, I'm blessed to have that, but I mean, it's weird. Have you guys watched Stranger Things? It seems like everybody has, but me.
I haven't yet because that seems like a show my wife would want to watch, so it's something I have to wait for her to be home to fucking watch, and she's never home. So.
What about you, Nate?
Yep, I've seen the whole thing.
Did you love it?
I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to go into any spoilers or any more detail than that, but I think I love the aesthetic and the 80s vibe that they have going on. Felt very E.T., very, how Super 8 captured that kind of Spielbergian mythos, kind of that feel. They reference like the Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back during the TV show, so it's pretty cool. I like the journey that they go on with the kids, and it's an engrossing story. I think you'll enjoy the ride.
Yes, it brings you back to like Amblin Entertainment's like glory days, like you said, right. Spielbergian tropes. It just, you can't really describe that feel, but you know it when you see it. And like you said, Super 8 had it, and Stranger Things has it, which J.J. Abrams was like intentionally going for that in Super 8, which I'm sure they were here too to some extent. But man, anybody who's semi-child of the 80s or love those classic films, please check it out. Like, he probably knows more than I do. I hope the ending doesn't let me down, but that's about it for my Week in Geek.
Nathan, what comics or TV shows have you been watching besides Stranger Things, I guess?
Oh, well, this in case you haven't known, I had recently moved, so a lot of my comics and stuff fell back on me being able to catch up and read on a lot of those. I have a ton of Star Wars comics to catch up on. Star Wars, Vader, the last couple issues of Kanan to read, all the Han Solo stuff.
That's going to end like this month, I think.
I know. I'm kind of delaying the inevitable because I really liked Kanan, and Vader too.
I liked Vader a lot, and that's the one I'm like, really? This is the one you're getting rid of?
Yeah, it stinks, but I mean, all good things must end, right? You can't take it on indefinitely because he's a huge character in the mythos, and you can't be like, oh, he was here. Like one day he's fighting Luke, and then the next day he's having coffee with Palpatine or something. You can't get that in depth, right? But I've been meaning to catch up and read some of those. I have some trips coming up, so I'm going to download all of them on my phone with Comixology. But as far as TV shows go, since I haven't been on to talk to you guys about it. I'm sure you guys have watched The Flash, right? The TV show
Yeah.
on the CW.
Caught up, yes.
That show is my favorite comic book TV show that I've ever seen in the history of comic book TV shows.
That's because it's the best comic book TV show in the history of comic book TV shows.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
preaching to the choir. If you want any differentiation, you came to the wrong place.
Oh no, that's good. I just want to make sure that we're all friends here because that's the litmus test right now. Is The Flash the best show? Yes. Oh, we can be friends. So with The Flash, I absolutely love how they ended the last season. So I'm not going to get into spoilers, but if any of you know what happened,
You can spoil it. We don't care.
okay, we're going to get into spoilers.
And we both seen it. Yeah.
We're not
Okay.
that type of podcast. I don't give a fuck about spoilers.
So how far into this Flashpoint do you think that they're going to go? Do you think they're going to go?
They have to go
full-on?
all the way to the crossover. And here's why. Because that's how they're going to bring in Supergirl.
Because Arrow sucks.
Arrow does suck right now.
Arrow does suck, and I've heard that that the other universes are still going to be in their universe, so technically they're not going to be affected by Flashpoint, which I think is a terrible idea.
So at
But-
the end of Arrow, the last season, they were just like baking a cake at the end of the show, right? That's what they were doing.
Dude, I'm 16 episodes behind on my DVR, and it's like pulling teeth to watch.
I gotta be honest.
Terrible.
I just don't remember anything. 'Cause that show is just so unmemorable. Like they just really fucked that show up bad.
It was so good.
Yeah, and they went. I think it's because they went so far away from the mythos. So like, he should have given up everything and become a bum on the street and been a super liberal and married fucking Black Canary. And I think they would have made for a much better television. But instead, they went like turned him into all Power Rangers. I don't like that. It's a weird thing. Like
They made him Batman. That's what they did. They couldn't do Batman, and
he's not even like a good Batman. He's shit at it. Like he's shit. Like it took him how long to take down Damien Dark? Like it took him fucking however long, a year or whatever, an entire year to take down one guy who, like, let's be honest, like Superman could have went over there and fucking smoked in 10 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? Like the threats they try to create for that show are just so like not threatening.
Yeah.
it seems like post Malcolm Merlin, they couldn't find a good antagonist. But Nate, go ahead about Flash and Flashpoint.
Oh, I was just gonna say with the way that they ended first season, I was enthralled and loved it because it was the tear in the sky that created the 52 rifts. I kind of like that they used that, but it was a great ending for that season, for season 1 to get into season 2, and it was even better to end season 3 with that. As a comic book fan who knows what this means and what's going to happen next, but at the same time, okay, if that does happen, how are they going to reel it back in? Because they have to get back to the status quo. That's the nature of a TV show, right? You get back to status quo after an arc or something. It'll be interesting to see what repercussions actually last with the Flashpoint. So I'm just curious your guys' thoughts, how deep you think they'll go, and if they make it worth the whole trip.
Like I said, I think they'll go as far as the Supergirl episode because I think that their plan with Flashpoint, because like otherwise why even do it? Like why?
Mhm.
It's really when you get down to the nitty gritty of Flash and the history of the Flashpoint is like brand fucking new. So like why do the newest thing that's happened to the Flash, the coolest, like you know what I mean? And when you have all these other stories you could tell first.
Mhm.
And I think like the main thing that the Flashpoint does is it rewrites the history, or I guess it rewrites the universe technically that they're all sharing. So what better way to bring in this character who is technically in another universe that you want in your universe than use a method of rewriting the universe?
Yeah.
I also think when Barry kind of when he comes to and he gets established in this new reality, if you will, I think maybe Kid Flash, maybe Wally West is going to be like an established character. Whereas kind of maybe in the status quo, we'd had to see kind of the origins of Kid Flash and all this, but it seems like, based on some of the photos and trailers, that he's just going to be there. I don't know how you guys perceive that.
That's the way it looks like in the trailer, at least the photos that I've seen too, that he's already there.
Yeah.
They get a weird look between the two of them when they first see each other, or at least in the trailer when they first see each other.
I love that finale, man. I mean, just,
Hmm.
we're going to have the race of a lifetime just to see who the fastest man in the world is. And I'm sitting there, got goosebumps, doing my
Hmm.
hands like this. And my wife's like, well, calm down. It's not that good. I'm like, honey, you don't understand. Yes, it is that good.
Well, the problem with the finale though was like the whole Kevin Smith episode. And I refer to that because that's the only way I can refer it to, where he's stuck in the Speed Force or wherever. It's about him not changing, fucking up the past. And then the
Yeah.
very next fucking episode, he goes and does exactly what he just learned not to do. Like, that was my kind of problem with it. But once again, I feel like they just had no other way to. They knew Supergirl. I think they knew the Supergirl deal was happening already. Of course they did, right? Like, well, how could you not at that point? And I think they knew that they were going to have to kind of rewrite this history in some way. And bring this character in, so why not? What better way to do it in Flashpoint? And then once again, too, when you're talking Flashpoint mythos, that's the newest, coolest thing that's happened to Flashpoint. So it's instantly marketable and recognizable as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Okay.
show's not sound. Sometimes there is some plot holes. When I say it is my favorite comic book TV show, probably of all time, I agree with Nate. I think it's the best and the most, as far as plot's concerned, airtight show. No, I'd probably give that to Daredevil if we're talking superhero stuff. But there's just something about the heart and joy of that character that they just nail, and
Yeah.
Gustin nails, and I just love it so much.
Yep. Definitely, they got the heart down for sure. And every episode that you watch, that you feel good. It's a
Yeah.
feel good kind of show.
The opposite of the DC cinematic universe, but
I
talk
think
about that later.
Berlanti's like 3 rules, and Kevin Smith, once again, I keep on bringing his name up, but he talks about
Great
this a lot.
podcast.
Yeah, it's heart, humor, and heroism. So every episode is supposed to have that, and I think Flash does that perfectly in every episode, and it shines through, and that's why it's a fucking hit. Like, I think it's something that Legends of Tomorrow was kind of striving for, and Arrow lost a long time ago.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Do you not like it? Because I finished it this summer, and like I really liked the show. I was on a delay.
It's one of those things where I watch all of them because they're comic book properties, and I can remember the dark times when there was nothing other than maybe Smallville on TV. So I'm watching everything. I'm taking it all in. But man, Legends of Tomorrow is just a mess.
It's rough. It should be 10 episodes.
It should be 10 episodes. And it needs to be the whole Savage thing just went on for way too
Way too
long.
long.
I didn't really like the character that they had for Savage either. I didn't like the way that the main character, I can't remember his name right now, the
Rip?
captain.
Rip Hunter.
Yeah. The way that the actor has him, he's always standing onto his side, kind of like this, every episode.
Yeah.
He's like always got this weird look on his face, and that's all he does to act is just stand weird. And I mean the episode where they went back in time into the West was kind of cool, kind of fun.
Yeah.
And anytime we go fight Nazis is a great time. So I'm more excited because I stuck through the whole season and watched the whole thing. What they're gonna do now with at the very end, the guy comes and I can't remember the character's name, but he's from is it the Justice League of America?
Justice Society.
Justice
Society. Yeah.
The old timers.
So I'm excited to see what they do with that. I don't know. There was so much
Not only
crap
Justice,
with the
but
Hawk characters too that was bad.
I
that's
hate
the
the
thing
Hawk.
about next season. They're not only bringing in the Society, but also Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
So like that's a fucking giant stretch for. I think it's going to be a huge thing for a lot of
As long as
people.
we get to hear Mick go, yeah, we need to do this. I feel bad. I have feelings now.
Oh, I have a feeling a lot of those characters are fucking out skis.
And let me
Like-
tell you something, though. My favorite scene of Legends of Tomorrow, and it made me almost tear up, is when he made Rip on the last episode, Heatwave, Mick made Rip take him back in time to a meeting with Captain Cold. And he just told him he cared about him as a friend, and he just doesn't show emotion. So like that got me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I like Heatwave.
You know Captain Cold's coming back, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know he is, but it was in the moment, Casey, because I know they're all going to come back as comic books, but
Well, that's why I found like fucked up because I think the news about Captain Cold leaving or joining on as a season regular came out before he died, and then he died, and we're like, wait, what the fuck? How is he gonna come back as a season regular now? A Flashpoint, obviously, no.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I love Captain Cold, so I'm glad he's not gone forever.
Wentworth Miller owns that role. I'll give the man that. He knows how to choose scenery. I've never seen somebody draw out nouns and verbs so long.
It's gonna be weird when Captain Cold and Mr. Freeze are the best characters like fucking DC has on TV, or best villains, I guess, on TV.
You think Mr. Freeze is the best villain in Gotham?
I haven't watched it yet.
Have y'all seen the pics of the new Poison Ivy? Because she's gonna give a lot of people a run for their money.
Oh, it's so stupid. Wasn't she 12 when that show first started? Now she's 21.
She's all grown up now.
How did that happen?
She fell in some chemicals that just make her older.
It melted her clothes off, but nothing else.
Those
just
magical
like
ace chemicals.
Squad.
Just throw someone in there and it'll do whatever you want it to.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Well, anyway, that's what I wanted to just talk about was, since I am not caught up on the comics and everything, but I absolutely loved the DC Flash that they have going on there. And, as much as I love Grant Gustin's portrayal of the Flash, the Ezra Miller Flash, as much as I'm resisting it because I love the Grant Gustin Flash, is kind of growing on me a little bit.
I kind of like Ezra Miller better.
Really?
Really? Oh God.
Like I like Grant Gustin, but he's like a little too like like for me, sometimes. But like the Ezra Miller just seems to like fucking like he's into it. You know what I mean? Like Grant Gustin seems reluctant, like a lot of the time. But the Ezra Miller Flash seems like I want to be the Flash and I want fucking other superheroes to be fucking superheroes with me, and I want to fucking pal around with them. Like he's like fucking he seems into it. I don't know. It's not enough to tell, but I'm with you, Nathan. I could definitely see myself fucking falling in love with that guy. When everyone was like, "Why the fuck are we hiring this guy?"
Mm-hmm.
He got a haircut, but the thing about that Grant Gustin, so that did it. He went off the kind of Kurt Cobain kick, and that's all it took. But I think they're really going for that, early Silver Age, kick off the Silver Age Barry Allen, that G. Golly Willikers innocence that we don't even have on TV.
He's just such an idiot sometimes. It's just like, once again, 22 episodes is too many. Like
that is a lot.
The 14. Like I don't need like the episodes of him going back and forth about the same fucking issue 20 times and him.
That's the CW.
I know.
Does that start to feel like Dragon Ball Z a little bit? Previously on Dragon Ball Z.
No, it seems
same
like
thing
One
that
Tree.
happens in the episode you're about to watch. Yeah, it's all fucking.
It's all one. It fills my One Tree Hill void as well as my superhero void. So
it's gonna be weird when Riverdale is on that network too. Like, when does Riverdale come on?
Is it this fall?
October. Yeah, they all start in October, I think.
Have you guys watched Preacher?
I have not.
I have. I've watched the first 3 episodes. I love it. It's just one of those things I can't watch around the kids, so I had to like find time. And then when I do find time, I'm like, I'd rather play Overwatch. So
that was like a 10-episode run, right? The first season.
Yeah.
It's over now, right?
Yeah, it's over, I think. Yeah, but that's what did a good thing too, where it's like, we're not gonna do the comic book. We're gonna fucking do the introduce you to everyone, and then season 2, we'll start fucking doing the comic book.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be a cool one to watch, I think, over again.
So one more question before we move on. I'm sorry, but
Sorry.
we're in unison that The Flash is the best TV show.
My
Which
favorite
one?
TV show.
Oh, that's what I mean. The favorite comic book TV show.
Daredevil's still the best.
Which do you think is the worst?
Gotham for sure.
I agree, Gotham.
But once again, I haven't watched it, so my opinion really doesn't fucking mean shit.
I watched 12 episodes and I couldn't take any more Fish Mooney. Then they kicked her off. I thought about watching again. Now she's coming back. No way. Not doing it.
The second season of that was a lot better. The end of the first season, beginning of second season was actually really strong for Gotham. But, I mean, I don't think it's the worst. Like, if you guys watch it and kind of take it for that noir that they're trying to give it to, it's okay, but it's not great. And
Here's
the
my problem. my problem with that show, Nathan. And as a comic book reader, see if you agree. And I just can't. I can't for the life of me get past it. And it's always because this has always been beat to death in me as a '90s comic book reader kid. Like it's just been beat to shit inside me. The villains don't exist unless Batman exists. So how in the fuck are the villains there if Batman's 10 years old? Like I don't like it. Does not. It just.
He's the catalyst. He's the catalyst for Gotham.
Right. Gotham is just a shitty place. And then when he puts on the mask, everyone else is like, oh, let's fucking put on masks. Or let's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, Batman didn't fucking like, oh, fucking, there's all these masked heroes, people here, I better fucking put on a mask. Like, it's the other way around. So, like, the fact that show just fucking throws that completely out to the water and is like, it's an origin story for all these villains. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't compute in my brain.
Yeah. See, I got past that really quick when I just realized that it's a TV show and it's not holding on to anything from the comics at all except the character names. Because, I mean, you look at a lot of movies and stuff, and any medium that's not a comic book, even comic books, they don't even adhere to their own lore. So you just got to kind of take it as an individual story, and if you like it, great. If not, oh well.
Right, I agree. But at the same time, I think, like, if there's one lore thing you should hold on to, like, that's one of them. You know what I mean? Like,
what happened with me is I know I can't watch all this stuff because, like Nate said, there's so much comic book, TV, movie stuff. And as somebody who, I don't have a kid, Casey, like you, so I can't imagine, but somebody who works full-time, has a wife, and all this stuff, it's hard to watch all this stuff and read comics and do other hobbies, too.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a hard life, Brad. You know, fucking...
That's complete first world problem definition right there. But it's so hard to have all these great things to do in TV shows and sports. I know I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
I think the worst one is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way. That just...
I held on to that until last year, and again, just trickled away from me time-wise.
I don't know. Bringing Robert Reyes back in, I'm ready to go. Like,
I mean, I'll watch it and give it a shot, but they got a lot to do.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a stretch, too.
All right, well, Casey, what have you been reading, man?
I got a huge stack here, so I'll just run through them super fast because it's fucking, look at that, it's a giant fucking stack. So Aquaman by Abnett has been fucking stellar, really good, kind of like a political drama.
What now? Is it up to 2 now or 3?
Up to 4.
Oh, wow.
We're bi-weekly, yeah, so we're fucking motoring. I know, it sucks. It's been good. Really, it's a lot of dialogue, not a lot of action, but it's definitely interesting stuff. Considering just how fucking much Aquaman wants to be a part of the surface world and how much they're like fuck you. So it's really well written and Abnett's great with dialogue. Black Panther also been burning through again with Ta-Nehisi Coates on writing. It's just fucking stellar writing, dialogue's amazing. It's really it gets down in the fucking nitty gritty of Wakanda and all the like different classes and tribes and they're always at war and battling and whatnot. And how Black Panther
grew that book though with that second Black Panther book because that book's really good. And I just hope they don't start tie-in after tie-in after tie-in.
Second one.
Yeah, they're coming out with a second Black Panther book that's going to focus on Wakanda as a whole as part of Marvel now.
Wait, no, isn't that? But that's the one with the 2 girls, right? It's starring the 2. They're like, I think they're lovers. Ugh.
2 girls, 1 Wakanda.
Yeah. I know. I think I know what book you're talking about, Brad. And it's not a terrible idea because I don't think it's gonna be about Black Panther. I think it's about these 2 like warrior lover girls, chicks. They're pretty badass. All right. I'm an idiot, so don't.
I'll take your word for it.
Don't. Captain America by Nick Spencer. I know this book's been getting a ton of hate, but I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's something really different that Red Skull is kind of like doing with Captain America and kind of fucking with him. And he's doing it just for the mere purpose of just fucking with Captain America, which is what every kind of bad guy should do, really, to be honest. Because the whole taking over the world thing is just so drab. Suicide Squad Rebirth. Wait, this came out, right?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
it's coming out. It just
No,
came out. Yeah, August 3rd. August 3rd.
okay, sorry. I
Yeah.
sometimes I get comic books early, so I don't know when they come
Yeah.
out. So Suicide Squad Rebirth. It's just a Suicide Squad origin story. Done, dare I say, kind of better than the movie.
Is it trying to just push movie characters, or does it really feel like it's
Well,
on?
here's one thing. For one, they're actually taking down metahumans, a la Superman, and
Okay.
showing you kind of why they can do that, and they do it in an interesting way, and they use their powers in an interesting way, and they show reasons why they're there. It's all things you kind of require in it. There's a really cool moment where Captain Boomerang, or the guy, is kind of like he's holding like this basically like IUD device, and the bad guys are trying to get it from him, and the scientist is holding onto it, and the monster bad guy is like grabbing the scientist and pulling him towards him. The scientist is like, "Don't fucking let him take it." And Captain Boomerang like throws a boomerang and cuts his arms off, and is like, "All right, later." takes the fucking suitcase, and lets the guy die. So kind of shit like that, that bad guys would do, but still be kind of heroic at the same time.
I'm just hoping this Suicide Squad book will stick because they rebooted it in the middle of the New 52, and then that didn't really stick. So I'm hoping for a really good run on the group.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's on the main book because I think the sometimes the creative teams switch once after the rebirth issue. But I want to say Jim Lee is doing the art on it.
He's rotating in like
Is he
every
rotating
issue.
in? Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh fuck, my phone just fell. That alone is reason enough, in my opinion. So, I mean, when he's drawing the Suicide Squad and Harley Quinn, and especially, I think it's fucking art. It's art, man. Batman. Brad, we can talk about this one together because I'm sure you've been reading it. Batman #4. It's been okay, to be honest.
The last issue I read was 2, so I'm behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's just once again the bi-weekly thing I think hurts them a little bit because it's allowing writers to take a little bit more time. So they're kind of being a little really slow, and Tom King really taking his time with this one. In fact, out of 4 issues that we've seen our villain twice, and everything that they've done has been off screen, and it's kind of like, all right, I'm over this. Like, give me my fucking Batman villains already.
It just kind of seems like this Batman and the Ben Affleck Batman kind of have something in common. I'm gonna make this real quick. This interjection, like in this book, he meets Gotham and Gotham Girl, and he says something to the extent of "Welcome to the club. I'm watching you." Like he's just so trustworthy. Like right away, he's not really the detective enough. And then in Suicide Squad, he's like instead he gets help from another person. I won't spoil it to kind of get the whereabouts of another group.
I think the fact that you just said he's in Suicide Squad spoiled it.
Well, everybody knew Batman was in Suicide Squad. It was in the trailers. He's on top of the car. Joker mobile.
Either way, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just, like I said, I just hope Tom King wraps up this Gotham arc real fast, and we get to get into some nitty gritty like Batman villains. Okay, this is a spoiler, and we only have one viewer, so I'm not gonna get in trouble for saying this. I have read Batman All-Star from Scott Snyder, and it's fucking tremendous.
Wow, it lives up to the hype, huh?
And Ramita's art on it is, man, it's so good. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, it's sad to have these 2 competing books because I think Tom King is gonna suffer because of it, which is unfortunate because I really like Tom King a lot. But we'll see when it comes out on Wednesday. He's a great guy. Justice League has been good so far, and it's just another like epic world-ending story. But it's been fun. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Apocalypse. I hate Scooby-Doo. I fucking hate Hanna-Barbera.
Why you got this as a press copy, right?
No, I did. I have, but that being said, I fucking it's the one I wait for now. It's like, where's my fucking Scooby-Doo? I love it, man. It's
Scooby-Doo,
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
So good.
What Casey says when he picks up
exactly
his press copies at the mailbox.
Like they're basically like the Monster Squad, but like the whole world's been turned into monsters, and like they have to go and like figure out what happened. Like there's this big like underlying conspiracy. It's fucking great. I love it.
I read the Flintstones issue 1. I
I love
didn't
that
keep
one
getting
too.
that's a great book.
But it's only monthly, so yeah, I think it should come out next week. Green Arrow's been okay. Skip that one. The Flash comic has been good. Once again, I really hate the trope that they're using, but and our reviewer mentions it. Oh shit, I'm spoiling something in the Flash #4 review. But like they basically give the whole city super speed powers. So now it's just a bunch of speedsters running around.
Oh wow, that's what we need in the Flash
Yeah,
universe.
right. More speedsters.
Yeah.
But it introduces this cool concept though, which I hope, and I think I see where Joshua Williamson is going, where because there's so many speedsters, it's drawing speed away from the speed force. And so Barry Allen's like everyone's super fast, but they're all slow at the same time, slower than they should be, and Barry Allen's slower. And then but there's this new character who comes in, who's like super fast, like way faster than everybody. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they deal with that. I'm talking too much. Fuck.
Did you read Harley Quinn, Casey? Harley Quinn.
I have not yet. No.
Okay. Sarah gave it a 8.0 on the site. I hadn't read it yet. I was just interested to see how that's been.
No, Sarah's a smart girl. She's smarter than I am. So whatever she says is probably fucking right on.
She gave it an 8.0, so I'll take her word for it.
It sounds like they in that book they redo her origin again or retell it again, and they may do a little bit more mishmashy of the New 52 origin and the her original Mad Love origin, which is nice. But yeah, she said she enjoyed it, so it's probably good. Okay, last one I'm going to talk about because it's important to the DC universe, and it's Titans. And this is the book. Like, if you want to know what's going on with like what happened with the missing 10 years and why we had the rebirth, this is supposedly the book we all should be reading, I guess, right, Brad?
Yeah, supposedly, because that's the one that's got the original Wally, right?
Yeah, but issue 1, I'm super hyped. I'm like, yeah, here we go. We're fucking ready. And what do? They talk about Linda Park for fucking the whole issue. But that being said, a character does come back that was previously gone from the New 52 continuity, and it's kind of kickstarting the idea of like what's restarting the old universe. What are we calling the old universe? Do we have a name for it yet? Pre-52. Yeah. So it's a cool idea.
No, it's the old.
It's the old 52, pre-52.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It introduces the pre-52 character, who kind of is going to start that story of him figuring out what's going on. So excited for that. All right, Brad, it's time.
All right.
Time for our Suicide Squad spoiler chat. We have 10 minutes. Just kidding. Okay, so we're going to talk Suicide Squad, full spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, probably time to check out now. If you have seen the movie, feel free to chat in. Let us know what you think on Twitter, at @_GWW. We're going to go full deep. So, Brad, let's just start off with the good. What did you guys like about Suicide Squad?
Man, I absolutely love this film, and I go to it Saturday. A lot of my friends and a lot of us at the website, chatting back and forth had seen it, and it was coming in mixed. And I'm a DC fanboy. I'm a DC apologist. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to like the film. And I go in, and I love it, man. Like, Leto's Joker, it really resonated with me. People hate it. I can't really understand why. Now, he was turned up to a 10 the entire time. For Leto, I just want to say this real quick, that, and I mentioned this on one of my podcasts, that I'll never forget sitting in the midnight showing of The Dark Knight when I was in college, and that Heath Ledger pencil trick scene. Sold out. He does that, and it's a collective gasp. It's like, holy crap, this guy's unhinged. This is a different version of this character than what we've ever seen. That's the way every second, even though it wasn't many seconds, every second, every minute that Leto's Joker was on screen, I was like, there's no telling what the hell this guy's going to do, and I loved it.
All 5 of them?
All 10 minutes. All right, all 10 minutes.
That's the
I,
problem, though. That you can't. I feel like there's no way of judging that character and what he's capable of because he's just not there enough. He's not there.
yeah, I
That's why you
think
gotta
he's.
wait for the standalone Batman movie.
That's what I said. I agree with Nate. Me and some friends were going back and forth. I said, guys, this was the tease. This was whetting your appetite, and we're gonna get to see, hopefully, Leto Joker go up against Ben Batman.
My opinion. Okay, so here's the problem with the Joker. They fucking marketed the movie. They used him to market the movie. He was the sole reason for going to see this movie, and he's
Harley
literally.
Quinn was too. Margot Robbie's Harley
We'll get to
Quinn.
that later.
Okay.
Sole reason for going to see this movie, and he's literally in the movie for 10 minutes.
Was it a good 10 minutes though?
Yeah, I would say I didn't. I mean, I did not hate his performance for sure. I would be happy to see him back. But it sounds like the majority of what would have made that character good and resonated more what got cut, and it's in the trailer, which is depressing. And it sounds like Leto is pissed about it too.
He was.
So I don't know what's going on. I just don't understand what's going on over there. And it sounded like rumors have since come out of there's been tons of issues with this movie, I guess, and that it was cut by David Ayer. There's a David Ayer cut, and there's a Trailer House cut, and the movie we got leans more towards the Trailer House cut and the David Ayer cut, and I think it's evident throughout the movie.
But he owns the cut, so he's saying we're not going to see an Ultimate Edition of Suicide Squad, which sucks. But it sucks that DC needs to save their movies that way.
Money talks, and they said that before. Did they say that before? Was the R-rated version set to come out before they released Batman v Superman?
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So
For certain, but
I think money will always talk, and if the movie takes a giant drop this weekend, which it's predicted to do, I think that we hear rumors of an Ayer cut coming out on the video.
it dropped 41% from Friday to Saturday, which was a historic drop.
Yeah, it's and it's all marketing. The first weekend supposedly
And pre-sales.
all marketing and pre-sales, so it's stuff before critics even saw it or whatever. So I mean, it's wait and see. But once again, we're staying on the good. So the Joker is a plus for you, Brad. You want to see him back. What else?
Absolutely. I like Harley Quinn. I know. I've listened to a lot of podcasts and I've read a lot of reviews. I tried to wait till after I saw the movie to do this, and one of the big complaints about this is the basically the Joker objectifying Harley Quinn, and a lot of people had a big problem with that common scene where basically, let's just come out and say it, the Joker pimps Harley Quinn out. In the moment, I guess being kind of a meathead that I am, I didn't really recognize it, but looking back in hindsight, I guess, yeah, that's not the best. But at the same time, as somebody who knows the Harley Quinn-Joker relationship is totally mentally screwed and twisted, it's like, why can't we just accept that this is a effed up relationship,
Right, but see, once again, I think the one thing that he wouldn't do, that's like the one thing he wouldn't do, is because Harley's his property. You know what I mean? Like, that's what that's the dichotomy of their relationship, is he looks at her as property, she looks at him as like the Prince Charming that she never had or is never gonna get.
But was he really gonna pimp her out though?
No.
No,
I don't
always
think
gonna
he
kill
was. I agree with Nate.
No, I don't think he was. But that being said, I just think there's scenes in that movie that are missing that would have like enhanced that relationship even more and made it even more fucked up than it already was, and given you more context to why decisions were made and why they did things and why the movie ended the way it ended.
I think Robbie owned this role as far as getting the mannerisms. If you don't like the costume, if you think it's too exploitive, whatever, but as far as getting the mannerisms, the timing, the spirit of the character, to me, this is my personal opinion, she owned this role the way Ledger did the Joker in The Dark Knight, and I walk away, as much as I love Batman and Harley Quinn and that whole universe, just really happy knowing that we have an established Harley Quinn with a talented actress And so that's two things. I like the Joker. I like Harley. I know we don't have a ton of time, so I'll just say third.
Brad, hold on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you buy though that she killed Robin?
I read that today, that it was in the file, and I didn't notice the Easter egg when I watched the film. I've only seen it once. But apparently she did kill Robin. Did the Joker manipulate her into it?
It's got to be like a...
Were they tag teaming it? You know?
He killed her, and like maybe he blamed it on her, or it was a tag team thing.
Casey, I know it sounds terrible, especially in this context. But Casey, did you see the hot toy at San Diego Comic-Con of the Joker? He was in Batman's outfit, and he had
no, it wasn't the Joker in Batman's outfit. It was just the Batman as the Joker.
Okay, because I was confused. Is this a deleted scene? Is this a spoiler?
It was just like, how can we make money? Let's do this.
They would have been better off selling the Robin outfit defaced in a glass case. So
they would have been. You're right.
I'll say one thing. So three things I like. So I liked Harley. I liked Joker. There's a lot more I liked. I like the soundtrack. People think that it was a Guardians ripoff cop-out, that they just threw every good song they could on there. To me, that's bullshit. Marvel can put anything they want to out there as far as the soundtrack. I mean, Alan Silvestri's soundtracks for some of these Marvel movies has been lackluster, but you want to crap on them for using well-known songs, and I never felt like the songs didn't match the tone that was on the screen at the time.
I like the songs they used. I just felt the cues were fucking off. And once again, I think this is because some amateur trailer house cut the movie, and they were on the nose as fuck.
They were. Maybe that's one complaint.
Sympathy of the Devil when Amanda Waller comes in, like, come on, man. Like, my 4-year-old or 5-year-old could figure that one out. Like, she could cut that trailer together. Like, I just felt like it was like everything was like see what we're doing, like it's like a nudge, like they're like it's the guy next to you nudging you all the time, you know what I mean? The same thing with the Harley Quinn, like killing Robin, like it's just they don't think shit out, like they're that's what I think that's what Marvel gets right and they're kind of getting wrong is like they're just throwing shit out there and they're just hoping that it sticks and there's no plan.
I think if Ben Affleck and Jeff Johns worked on that Batman script like they said they did, they can tie these loose ends together in a Batman film. That's my hope.
Well, Jeff Johns wrote Wonder Woman too, right?
I don't know if he did.
I think he did. I think he did. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so Nathan, what did you like about the movie?
I enjoyed the movie. I went in with super low expectations because of the Rotten Tomato scores. I went and saw the Thursday 6:30 p.m. showing here, which was the first one we could go see, and enjoyed the movie. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it was actually really fun. It was going in there, and I've seen a lot of movies this summer. The last one I saw was Jason Bourne, and I walked out of that movie not happy. I walked out of this movie thinking back on it and really liking some of the stuff that I saw because as a comic book fan, they had some really amazing iconic shots in this movie, like the one with Joker and Harley dancing together, and just some different scenes like them coming out of the acid and things, which was built for this, but they had some really cool imagery that they used, and I thought they did really well with that. The performance by Jared Leto is fine. Like I said, I think this is just more of a teaser for me, just to see what he'll be like in an actual Batman movie, because I honestly wasn't expecting much Joker in this movie, to be honest, because it's not a Joker movie, it's not a Batman movie. I'm surprised we got as much Batman in this movie as we did, but...
See, I think that's where the movie failed, like at the most, because it should have been a Joker movie. Yeah, like why is Harley Quinn even there? Like, she's not a metahuman. She contributes nothing to the Suicide Squad in general. Like, if you're going out and picking the most ruthless killers on the planet, like, you really pick, like, a fucking 110 fucking blonde chick with a baseball bat? Like, really? Like, come on. Like, the only reason she exists on the Suicide Squad is because you are going after the Joker. And you need the inside knowledge. You need that fucking person that thinks like him to go after him and take him down. That's where I thought this movie was going. That's where I thought all the marketing was going. That's where I thought they were pushing this movie towards. Like, yes, there is this.
They missed the opportunity.
But again, I think that was the plan, and someone fucked it up. Like, there is a scene in the movie where Joker is in that train station with them at the end. Like that's in the trailer. I just think there's just giant chunks of this movie missing that would fill in these holes that we're never going to see, unfortunately, it sounds like. But like I said, I really think if this movie would have fucking done so much better if they would have fixed that third act and put Joker in there and made him the villain all along, like he was pulling the strings or he was doing something, he was behind the scenes doing whatever. Have the crux of the Suicide Squad need to go in and have them recruiting Harley specifically because they have to go against the Joker in some fashion, and you need her. And then you have that like dynamic too, where like how close do we let her get to the Joker? Like we always risk like them two like getting together and her turning on. You know what I mean? You have that back and forth all the time, which I just don't think existed in this movie at any point either. I don't know, man. Like I'm with you guys. It was fun. It's a good watch, and it is one of those movies that when it comes on DVD, I'll just put on and just fucking watch it whenever I want to watch something that's like eye-catching and looks great. But it has these fucking major flaws that carry over from Batman v Superman that DC just needs to like recover from, and they need to hit that learning curve quick with the third act.
I just feel like it's all been puzzle pieces, and Batman's the catalyst, and he needs to come. And that Batman solo film, along with the Justice League, is gonna have to come in and put all these puzzle pieces together. I think these movies fail as a whole if that never happens. Like to me, I agree with Nate. They've whet my appetite and intrigued me enough to want to know how this Joker and Harley came to be. That I will tune in for future movies, but I hope and pray that they tie this all together, because they not. Talk about a failure of epic proportions.
Well, it's gonna be rough for them to tie it together. And like I said, this movie just feels so like it does feel like a Guardians ripoff, like a Guardians wannabe. And they should have just made it. They should have made a Guardians wannabe, but they should have made it hard. They should have made it an R. They should have made them fucking despicable people. So when they did have that turnaround in the end, it fucking actually meant something. You know what I mean? Like I think they could have done things with this movie. Like the pieces for this movie are there to make it fucking awesome. They just fucking dropped the ball again. It's like how many times can they drop the ball before we're just like, all right, guys, like, what are you doing? Like
when they quit making money, that's when they can be like, what are we doing?
Well, I'll tell you, I heard that they need this movie to make $800 million, and I don't think it's going to make $800 million. Like,
and it's not opening in China either, which is going to hurt it. That's the second biggest movie market in the world. So
I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm with you guys. It was fun. It has great moments. It looks great. It's the best comic book movie DC's done since Nolan's time, because taken on face value, Nolan's movies aren't really comic book movies. They're crime dramas with comic book characters. But this is by far an enjoyable, watchable movie, much more than Batman vs Superman is. About Harley Quinn, I think they dropped the ball a little bit, but I've always said this from day one, that is the hardest character to adapt in DC Comics. Number one, because she's essentially an abuse victim that you have to somehow gain sympathy for, and have to somehow come to terms with the fact that she's always going to go back to her abuser. And if she doesn't, then you need to make that turn happen where she is abused and she has that turn where she doesn't go back to the abuser and she becomes someone else. But in this movie, they kind of don't have time to deal with that very much, and she comes across as like a sex symbol who says funny lines.
I disagree that they didn't do it, because there's one line that really sells that when she goes up against Enchantress at the end, she's like, I lost my pudding. There's a little thing where she talks, like, the way that she says that and the way that she just kind of carries it out. Yeah, she's playing it a little bit for that scene, but she really captured what I think of as Harley Quinn at that moment in particular, because you could tell that, yeah, she misses Joker because she thinks he's dead, and that she has this whole wealth of emotions that she's trying to deal with at the same time. But then at the same time, she's like, well, screw it. I'm just going to go possibly die here and join Joker in, wherever. So it just, I thought that one line in particular, she was able to convey that sense of loss and that emotion that I think that you might have felt missing.
You're a much kinder man than I am, Nathan. That's for sure. I just feel like Joker and Harley Quinn, DC, Joker and Harley Quinn are your fucking stars. They make millions of dollars of merchandise. People love to see them on everything. Anytime a Joker comes up, anytime it's fucking giant news, why not just make Mad Love? Like, why not just make the Joker and Harley Quinn movie, throw in Batman in there for fucking good taste, and call it a fucking day, and I think you would have been much more successful.
So you want the Killing Joke, but Mad Love?
Oh, I saw the Killing Joke.
No,
I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like. Just add a little bit extra to it, and
yeah,
maybe
kind of.
relationship
I
with
do.
Batgirl.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe I do. I just, like I said, I just think that character and that relationship is so difficult to do in live action that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And hopefully they can do more with it in the future and flesh it out a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely want to see more with those two characters in a solo Batman movie.
Yeah, if anybody I want to see more of, it's Harley, Joker, and maybe Captain Boomerang, just because I think he's fucking hilarious.
You guys have failed to mention Will Smith. I felt like he
was Will Smith.
Exactly, though. But when's the last time? Think about it. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Casey. When's the last time Will Smith has been badass Will Smith? Is it I'm Legend? Is that the last
That'd
time?
be the last one.
Yeah, when you choke out a dog, like, you can't fucking get more badass than that. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty hardcore.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so it was a return to form with Will Smith in this big superhero franchise film. He was the headliner, and I didn't know if Will Smith could be a headliner anymore. He could. He killed it. He had so many great one-liners. You ain't nothing if you don't stand for nothing.
Triangle.
Yeah. I mean, just stuff. He's the character I remember the most.
So with Will Smith, though, like, I feel like, once again, they really fucking softened up Deadshot.
Yeah, they did.
From his comic book version. I bet a lot of that was because, like, Will Smith, I'm not fucking playing a bad guy. Like, he was like the goodest bad guy in that whole fucking group.
For real, I agree.
You know what I mean? And like, even when they like take him down, it's like Batman would never fucking take him down in front of his kids. Like, come on.
That was a good scene. I enjoyed that scene. I mean, there was something kind of maybe not subtle about that, but I don't know. I love when they're walking in front of that department store and that whole Batman scene. It felt old school Batman Returns, Batman '89, Tim Burton Batman, where it felt like
because it was snowing.
Because it was snowing, and it felt like they were on the Warner Brothers back lot that was as big as a shoebox.
But like I said, like, I just feel like Batman, once again, I'm just a comic book asshole. I know people hate me, I'm sure. I just feel like he would wait. He'd follow them home, wait till she went to bed, and then that's when he would take her down. Like, he wouldn't do it in front of the little girl.
Why not? His parents died in front of him. Maybe she'll become something.
I don't know. That seems like a super villain. Okay, so now you just wrote the sequel, fucking Batman 5: The Return of Mrs. Deadshot.
In 25 years, she becomes Batwoman.
She becomes a villain. Yeah. Okay. So what are the things you guys didn't like?
Enchantress.
Yeah. Amen.
It's terrible.
I think they just dropped that once again. Like, you have all these great villains, and you need to put them against something big and bad, and you pick Incubus, something no one's ever fucking heard of. I don't think his name's ever mentioned in the fucking movie one time.
Is that her brother? That's
her brother, yeah. And then then her, and then Enchantress, and then it was just a mess. And she's a terrible actress. Like, I don't know how she got that role.
I actually didn't hate Enchantress until she had the turn. And then you had the worst CG I've ever seen. It looked like they said, let's remake that end scene of the original Ghostbusters and just not pay homage to it whatsoever. I mean, it was so gatekeeper. It was Ghostbusters, man.
It did feel like Ghostbusters. I thought the exact same thing. Like, going into that final scene, I was like, did I go into the wrong theater? Is this Ghostbusters right now?
It was more like Ghostbusters than Ghostbusters was this summer.
I mean, her whole thing was they worship machines, so I'm going to build a machine. She wasn't even building anything. Like, the entire time that she was doing it, what did she build? There was nothing there.
And we get this classic crappy trope of blue light shooting into the sky that we get in every superhero movie. Come on, guys. We get that or a monorail scene every time. They got to put that. Yeah, you got to think about Spider-Man 2. He stops the subway. You got to think about Batman Begins. You know, that whole scene with Roz. You got to think about Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, the whole subway scene with Quicksilver. I
X-Men.
mean, X-Men, yeah. When he puts Magneto, puts Wolverine. Those are tropes that need to stop.
Yeah,
That's
that
funny.
third act, man. Like I said, I think DC is going to go through the same third act woes that Marvel went through, but the only difference is we're not wowed by superheroes anymore. So a movie that would have got a 55 on Rotten Tomatoes 5 years ago is going to get a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes now.
The thing is, though, they know that they have Batman in their back pocket. They could scrap everything right now and make a Ben Affleck Batman trilogy where he writes and directs, pay him a crap ton of money, bring Leto back as the Joker, Robbie back as Harley Quinn, and they would have a cash cow on their hand. It wouldn't matter if they scrapped the whole DC Entertainment movie universe.
Brad, rumor has it they're doing Arkham Asylum.
What? Or a movie of it?
Yeah. So basically, it'd be Batman trapped inside Arkham against everybody, including the Joker.
Okay, with Leto's Joker, so that will be the Batman movie that we're
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
get.
like once again, Leto seems pretty pissed, so I would be surprised if he stuck around, and maybe that's how they'll get him to stick around. Is they're like, listen, here's a giant fucking meaty role for you.
Well, Leto's an
Yeah,
Oscar winner too, so he doesn't have to stick around for anything like that.
right, but I'm sure he takes a giant penalty if he fucking ditches out on his contract, because they didn't sign him for just one movie.
I am like a non-apologist Nolan fanboy, and I love Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, I always will. And like, I remember my wife and I watched Dallas Buyers Club when it came out, and I saw that transformation as a method actor that Jared Leto made into the transvestite character in that film. And I told Abby, my wife at the time, I was like, this is who they need to get to play the Joker. Because I had not seen like a transformation of that sense on film since Ledger's Joker. And I think he pulled it off. I just think Casey's right. They didn't give us enough.
Yeah,
But it's not really a Joker movie. The whole thing, the villain that they were assembled for was the Enchantress thing, which is
That was the mistake.
so
though.
stupid.
It shouldn't have been her.
Yeah, I think the mistake was it should have been a Joker movie, and they should have been the Enchantress should have been the lure, and the Joker should have been the hook. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have figured that out, but I don't know. Like once again, third act woes, they'll figure it out. They're not going anywhere. They have nothing else. They literally have nothing.
I think Nate hit the nail on the head, though. These DC movies, whether it's Man of Steel, BVS, or this, are visually stunning.
Oh yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah, iconic imagery. Like,
But-
who would have... Did you go in, Casey, though? Think about this. And this was worth the 8, 10, 12, 15 bucks, whatever you paid to get in.
$5.50.
Thinking you would see that reimagining of that Alex Ross.
$5.50. Where do you live?
Yeah, I live in North Carolina, and we ain't getting in for $5.50, brother. Where do you live?
I live over in Illinois, Central Illinois, and there's a small theater here that had it for $5.50. I was like, I'm gonna go check it out there because I just spent $22 to see Bourne the week before in Georgia, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. So I had to balance it out a little bit.
Oh man, $5.50. That's a dream.
Yeah, that's really good.
Popcorn's like super cheap too.
But were you guys kind of geeking out though when you saw that, and then Nate brought it up, Harley in her classic outfit, her gesture outfit with Joker.
I was
in the
surprised
black
to
and
see
white.
it. I was
Me
really
too. I was
surprised.
like, damn, this is sweet.
And that scene that you're talking about with them dancing, that with that iconic classic. I can't remember which book it's from.
Alex
Is it
Ross.
from Mad Love?
It's Alex Ross.
It's an Alex Ross cover. I just think I don't know if it was from a particular book. It may just be a drawing, but
It's more famous as a poster.
yeah, I don't.
That's true.
I think Mad Love maybe did not come out. It's too old for that. I think the poster's newer than the book is. I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure we all have the internet in front of us. Like we can look it up.
But I did like seeing her later on when she was going through her trunk of stuff. She pulled it out again. I was like, oh, that's cool.
By the way, did she get arrested wearing the fucking hot pants and Daddy's Little Monster T-shirt? Like, where did that stuff come from?
That's a good question. The thing is, of all the stuff she could have put on, she chose to put that on. The most skimpiest outfit she could have.
Ridiculous.
But
Anyways.
hey, she grabbed a mallet at the beginning, and then she had a baseball bat. She never used that mallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, why the baseball? Like, yeah, wouldn't a mallet be much more effective, especially like in those fight scenes when you're knocking dudes' heads off?
Yeah, so like she grabbed the mallet, and I was like, oh, cool. And then she never used it. I was like, oh, come on.
That was
Well,
so they could include it in
How
the
about
hot
this?
toy.
I counted Captain Boomerang, everybody. Captain fucking Boomerang uses his boomerang 3 times.
And one time, it's like Arkham video game where it's a drone and you can see what the hell's going on.
And they all watch it
Yeah.
on his phone.
I love that. Oh, great. Classic.
Stupid.
I did like that scene when Deadshot kind of got on top of that police car and was like owning everybody, and everybody just kind of looked at him. I thought that was kind of cool.
That was good. But you know, once again, missing with Deadshot was that moment where like the Arkham City moment where like he shoots somebody, like shoots something, but like it causes a ricochet and kills somebody, but it makes it look like the bullet came from somewhere else, so someone else shot the gun.
No, he did do that.
That crazy, did he?
Yeah, he did it for the opening kill.
Yeah, when he's on the phone and he wants the extra $1 million in his bank account.
Oh, maybe I wasn't paying attention.
It was kind of odd how they introduced him. It was very overt, you know.
He's a different character portrayal than you've seen him in any comics for sure.
Yeah, he's much softer.
He's
like
Will Smith.
In the comic book,
Yeah,
like he
exactly.
has a death wish. Like, you know what I mean? Like he wants to die. Here,
What'd you guys think of Killer Croc? He was fun.
He was okay.
His background noise.
As soon as they said that something's been flooded and we got to go swim, I was like, well, we know where Killer Croc's going.
By the way, okay, here's another huge problem with this movie. So she's like, I'm going to get a bunch of fucking metahumans together to fight Superman. Which one of these motherfuckers is fighting Superman? Like, what are these guys going to do against Superman?
I didn't see Shazam or Black Adam, so I don't know.
Like, I'll give you maybe Enchantress and El Diablo could, like, maybe, like, hold him for, like, a 5 minutes or something. But, like, what are Harley Quinn and Killer Croc? Like, Killer Croc isn't even a metahuman, right? It's just, like, his skin's fucked up.
Yeah, it's a mutation.
I bet you Waller gives him kryptonite to fight Superman, and then
you know who Killer Croc was supposed to be in this movie, right? He was supposed to be Groot, and it didn't come across. I'm telling you, that's what they were going for. This was
he was no Groot.
Yeah.
I won't beat E.T.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Like the big issue I felt like the movie was like you're gonna make a Dirty Dozen-esque movie, like assemble a team because they have a certain set of skills that you need to use in the movie. Like the only person
Why was
who had
Katana in this movie?
no reason, none whatsoever. Why was she at the bar? Like she wanted to kill all of them. Like why was she like all of a sudden like buddy like with him at the end?
She wanted a Sapporo. Get over it.
So racist.
Sapporo's a good beer. What are you talking about? There's nothing racist like saying a white man wants a Budweiser. I'll tell you, it's pretty bad when they develop Katana less than Arrow develops Katana. It was kind of bad.
Arrow's Katana was actually really good. I was looking forward to the portrayal of this one, and this one was just like, she had no reason to be there at all.
I felt like a lot of like this movie could have been done with 4 characters. Like I said, like none of the team had anything to do. Like you could essentially went in there with Deadshot and Harley Quinn and someone else popular and the SEAL team and gotten the same job done.
Do you guys think it was too soon in the life cycle of this DC Entertainment Universe to do Suicide Squad?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they jumped the gun. They went for their Guardians right away when Marvel established their core characters first.
Well, it's like on the difficulty level, it's an 8 compared to like a Batman, which would be like a 5. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like they wanted their Guardians and they wanted it now, and they did not get it.
And Batman's guaranteed moneymaker, man. Like at least it has to be Batman and Robin level bad to be a failure.
Yeah, and the rumor is Ayer had 6 weeks to write this script, and I feel like if that was the case, I feel like Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck could put out a perfectly good Batman script in 6 weeks and get a much better product than we are seeing now, and maybe that's what they should have done. I don't know. I'm not a fucking movie executive, Brad. I don't know. Who knows?
It just seems like, here's the thing, and I was talking to a buddy on another podcast, is that let's not bury the DC Entertainment Universe yet, because we really haven't seen a movie that Johns has
You're
been
right. We haven't seen a
completely
movie.
behind.
You're right.
What?
That's true.
We have not seen a movie that Jeff
We've seen
Johns.
vignettes of great images, but a movie we have not seen.
We have not seen a DC movie that Jeff Johns was the head honcho for.
But that's the thing. You're not going to until maybe.
Isn't Wonder Woman his first one?
I thought he wrote Wonder Woman.
I don't think I'm gonna look this up while we're still in the
But
air.
I'm not sure he. I don't think he'll be accounted as the executive producer, or whatever his title is now, on Wonder Woman yet.
What did you guys think of the inclusion of the Flash in Suicide Squad? He just kind of popped up there, and I was pretty jazzed about that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
His
More of that.
outfit looked plasticky.
That's
Really?
supposed to. It's pieces of the space shuttle.
Is it what?
Yeah,
What
you didn't
space
hear this?
shuttle?
So okay, so
What space shuttle?
this came out from all
Superman's?
the. I don't know, just a space shuttle. He's fast. He can steal shit like that. So apparently this came out during the junket, the Justice League junket. But yeah, he like made his own Flash costume, and he had to make it so it's whatever speed resistant. So he went and stole a bunch of parts from NASA and like made this like suit on it. And it's like held together by like wire, like you can see like wires like running across it. So yeah, it's like basically hunks of like the space shuttle. And he's
They will never explain that. The explanation from Casey on the article he read on the internet will be the best explanation we get for the origin of his suit. But you're right, Casey. I just fact-checked. He co-wrote Wonder Woman with Alan Heinberg. So you can say that's his first film, I guess.
And to be honest, that looks fucking good. It looks
Exactly. So let's not
But
bury.
you know what? We all said that about Suicide Squad too.
But was Suicide Squad bad?
Yeah,
I was happy with it. It wasn't bad.
It's entertaining, but it's an objectively bad movie. Like if you're gonna break it down as its parts and as a plot, like it's bad, man. It's bad.
It's a comic book movie to its core.
It is, but we're not allowed to call them comic book movies anymore.
But that's what this is.
I know, but we're not allowed to.
What?
But
Who said that?
But cause this is the point. Because if you're judging it based on that fact, then like you're saying like, then that's like calling like saying that you rate a drama different than a comedy just because it's a comedy. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, you can't put a comedy and a drama
But
together.
yes, you can.
I can't compare Saving Private Ryan to Big Daddy.
That's bad reviewing. Like if
you can't.
Every movie is the same. Like you should view every movie as you've never seen a movie. That's not right.
You can't do that because you can't take a movie like Apollo 13 and put it against a movie like Castaway. Even though Tom Hanks is in both movies, it's a completely different genre in filmmaking. That is one's like a science fact kind of historical movie. One's not a fantasy, but just a fiction. So you can't really compare those two in the same level of a storytelling, but you could compare Apollo 13 and The Martian in that same vein because they're very much the same genre.
But did you know the Flash
I think you can compare them analytically.
The Flash got his outfit from Apollo 13.
God damn it, Brad! We're having a fucking discussion.
I'm sorry, Casey. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Review. All right. So listen. I do think you can to a point. Yeah, you're right. It's hard, but to a point, when you get down to the basics of what a movie is, what makes a good movie, what you need to have a movie be a movie and make it a complete story, there are certain things that have to be there regardless of the movie, the comedy, comic book movie, whatever, that have to be there regardless of what kind of movie it is. And if they're not there, then it's a bad movie. And Justice League is missing those parts, missing a plot. This movie is missing plot. It's missing giant plot. It's missing giant character moments. There's characters that just flat out don't need to be there. It's admittedly missing giant chunks of the movie that would explain these things. And I think because it's missing those things, it's just objectively bad. Now, does that mean it's not entertaining? No, it is by far entertaining. I will watch Green Lantern to death. It's a fucking terrible movie. It's bad.
This isn't Green Lantern bad, though. Do you really think it is, Casey?
No, I don't think it's as bad as Green Lantern. I don't think it's as bad as Batman v Superman. I do think it's immensely more watchable than both those things. But when you break it down to the analytics of what a movie and what a story and what these characters are, it's missing giant chunks of those things that make it objectively a bad movie. That doesn't mean you can't love it.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I mean, as I've looked back on it, maybe did I like it too much? I mean, I hate to say this. I actually like Batman versus Superman walking out of it, but and I don't hate that movie to this day. I have not watched the Ultimate Cut. Have you guys watched the Ultimate Cut of BVS yet?
I have.
I'm trying to.
You're in the midst of it, Casey? Is it that tough?
I keep starting. It's just so long. Like I keep starting it. It's 3 hours, man. I can't. For me to cut out 3 hours and just sit and watch something, it's fucking rough. You know what I mean? That's hard. So yeah, it's just trying to get through, just having time to sit there and watch 3 hours. But I agree. Like, I think that movie was way better. I think it's a way better cut of the movie. It explains things that giant chunks of that movie that needed explaining that they cut out. There's things in that movie that should have been cut out, like those two cops watching the fucking monitor in that house while Batman's driving around. Like, why do we need to watch those two cops and have that whole drive of them like going into beating Batman? Like, there's shit that should have got cut out of that movie that got kept in. There's shit they cut out that they should have kept in. And I think the Ultimate Cut is proof that movie could have been something good, and they fucked it up because someone decided it was too long, or certain things need to be there and certain things didn't need to be there. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I have not. I want to sit down and watch it. I got a friend who's going to let me borrow it. I didn't want to go out on the limb of purchasing it, but, we'll see.
I think, I don't know. Sorry, my daughter. I had a good thought. My kid fucking fucked it up. I don't know. I feel like with Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, that DC is trying so hard to play catch up, and they're not trying to put out a good movie.
Is it safe to say that these movies are more akin to like the Daredevil, Fantastic Four movies before Marvel got a real good chance to, get to Iron Man?
They kind of feel like that. I don't know if they're quite that bad. The thing is, everybody says, Iron Man changed the game, and it did. But Batman Begins kind of did the same thing. It's like, we can take this concept seriously. And then Marvel did it with Iron Man, and in that same summer you had The Dark Knight. I don't know if DC knows what they want to be as far as tone is concerned. I think part of them wants to be fun and poppy like the Marvel films. And I think part of them wants to be dark and gritty like the Nolan Batman films. So what we have is a mishmash of tones. And it's just like not meshing together.
That's what I was going to say. Actually reminded me. I think DC's problem is they're dealing with larger-than-life, godlike characters.
That's tough, dude.
And 2 hours of film, it's hard to get across those concepts. Like, I think they just need to go in with the idea of, like, we're just going to make a 3-hour movie. And this is a story we're going to tell, and if you don't like it, tough. And if you do, then great. But, like, I honestly think, like, I think Suicide Squad would have benefited for being 2.5 hours. I think it would have benefited for an extra 30 minutes of Joker, or I think it would have done that film so much better. And like I said, you're just dealing with these giant characters. Marvel is dealing with smaller characters. They're grounded characters. They're not like gods. You know what I mean? They have vulnerabilities. Like Superman is a tough concept. Like, how do you make a god invulnerable? How do you find villains and create monsters that are invulnerable for him, as well as being interesting characters within 2 hours? It's fucking tough, dude. And I think that's why DC's comics are so much better when they're good than Marvel's, is because the comic medium allows for that length and that brevity and that expansion of fucking the knowledge and the universe and the mythos. And in a movie, you have to fucking wrap it up in 2 hours. You know what I mean? It's hard.
The thing is, and I said this, I know Casey remembers this because he edited this article for me. I wrote an article when DC Rebirth was announced, and in that article I said, Marvel is people with powers choosing to do the right thing. And DC, like Casey said, it's these godlike characters who people aspire to be, and they inspire people. And that is hard to capture on film. And I don't know if anybody has really ever captured that aside from the first two Christopher Reeve Superman films and the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. Those are
Like
the only
the
DC films where that was captured to me.
Christopher Reeves, though, the original Superman, you could say captured that as well.
That's what I said, yeah. The first two Christopher Reeve Superman
Okay.
movies.
I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the Dark Knight movies.
Those two, yeah.
I think another problem DC is going to have too is their characters are so tonally different, and I think that's what you're saying earlier is they just don't know what tone they have because a Batman film should be fucking dark and gritty and it should be hardcore, but a Superman film shouldn't be. Like it should be light and airy and fun and give you hope at the end of it. And same thing with the Flash. The Flash should be fun and fucking light and kinetic. You know what I mean? Like I think they need to let the characters tell the stories and stop trying to fucking make every fucking movie fit this mold that they're trying to create.
And Marvel's so neatly divided up. You have the street level, you have the cosmic, you have the B-list characters and their teams and the A-list teams, whereas I just feel like DC, everything revolves around the Holy Trinity, and if you don't get that right, you really can't get anything else right.
But even with Marvel to its core, like I just don't feel like there is like even in their comics, everything's totally kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like yeah, you'll have the Marvel Knights books that'll be a little bit darker, but like there's no Batman character. You know, there's no Batman character who comes in and just fucking brings down everything. It just doesn't really exist.
Punisher though.
Yeah, that's true. But in he's also a villain too. You know what I mean? He's not.
He's an anti-hero.
Yeah, he'll happily murder Spider-Man given the chance. It's just DC just has this. I think they just have this mountain to climb that Marvel just didn't have, and that's in the fact that their heroes are just larger than life. And when you have that, you need a larger than life movie. And if you don't provide that, then you're gonna fucking fall flat on your face.
Before we get off of here, I just want to kind of close with two questions about the actual ending of the movie as far as my questions. Okay, first of all, and this is a question for both of you, did that ending where the music cued and everything settled down at Bellry and everything at the prison and main story's over, and then boom, Joker breaks Harley out. One, did that surprise you? And two, do you think that was an actual intentional ending, or did they just do it for kicks? Do you think they have a story planned, or at least an outline plan for where Joker and Harley are going next? What do you guys think?
I think they have the story generally, in mind, not necessarily planned. It did surprise me though that they confirmed Joker as being alive and breaking her out. I didn't really expect to see that in this movie. I would have figured that would be for like a Suicide Squad 2 or a Batman standalone. But yeah, I was kind of surprised when they did it. But as far as the plans in the future, they're still very much up in the air at this point. I guarantee it. But yeah. I'm sure that some of the leaders of that, the DCEU, have a general thought of what they want to do.
I think it was a tacked on scene because I think, like I said, I honestly think the last in the third act, Joker came to the train station and grabbed Harley at that point, and they fucking made their escape. So I think that last scene was kind of a tack on scene that they added at the end, and maybe was part of reshoots.
That's the thing that's going to piss me off. I feel like this is all a bunch of sit up for something that I'm hoping will be. And I don't even know what I hope will be. It's not like the first phase of Marvel where I'm like, all right, everything's setting up Avengers. I don't know if I'm hoping this will set up, great Justice League films, or I'm really hoping this will set up a great Batman film. But definitely in the context of this Suicide Squad film, I felt like there's a lot of elements to play with as far as Leto and Robbie and Ben Affleck and Deadshot, if you want to go there, to set up a really good set of Batman films, and I hope that's there.
I think it does set up Arkham City, or Arkham, whatever they're going to call the next Batman movie, because I bet you what happens is the movie opens with him catching the Joker, and then him taking the Joker to Arkham personally,
like
dropping him off, and then getting locked in there, and Joker being like, "I got you, bitch." Like
That'd be great.
I mean, isn't that's kind of the opening to Arkham Asylum, the game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I don't like that. Just seems like it just lift that, and then the way you bring Harley in is she's the one on the outside of the asylum, and she's kind of pulling the strings and doing whatever Joker needs done on the outside to keep Batman in there. Um, yeah, I think we see those two for sure again.
And it gives you the excuse to throw a crap ton of classic Batman characters in there.
Well, yeah, because that's what we all really want from a Batman movie is we just want his rogues gallery. Because let's be honest, we're kind of fucking over Batman, but we just want his
I'm not over Batman.
we want his villains, man. No, you like Batman because of the people he fights. Like you wouldn't go in and watch a fucking Batman movie where he was like it was like him against the what are they Calphones?
Yeah. Carmine Falcone.
Yeah, there you go.
Carmine Falcone.
I can bound his name, but
And Sal Maroni.
yeah, you wouldn't fucking watch him just fighting a bunch of mobsters. You know what I mean? Like you want to see him fight the Riddler and shit. So why not just fucking have them all in there? I think it's a great idea.
What'd you guys think of the very end scene where he gets the 3 files from Amanda Waller? I felt like it kind of cheapened him as being a detective.
I completely agree.
Amen.
Like really, like and number one, like once again. So does he not have a secret identity? Because and this is my issue with the Justice League trailer too. Like why not just put him in the cowl? Like why is he not going to visit Aquaman in the cowl? Like why is he not going to visit Amanda Waller in the cowl? Like why is he doing all this stuff as Bruce Wayne?
Because he wanted a stake. He's not going to get stake as Batman.
I mean, they already established Amanda Waller as an all-knowing badass, so I didn't really have a problem with that aspect. But I agree with you guys in world's greatest detective, my ass. This guy has to look at like folders on his desktop to figure out who the Justice League is, and then go to Amanda Waller to get the rest of the roster. Man, they're cheapening him.
How much better that scene would have been if it opened in Amanda Waller's office. She's talking to somebody else. The guy leaves, closes the door, and she stands up and he's like, "All right, what do you want?" And then he like steps out from the shadows, and then they have that conversation. Like,
how easy is that?
Like
that would have been a lot better.
That would have been way better. Like, what is going on over there, DC? What the fuck? I just feel like I don't know. Like I don't know.
I feel like they're at the wrap party for Suicide Squad at a steakhouse. And they're like, hey, you know what would be really cool? Let's add on this post-credit scene. Viola Davis, Ben, what do you think? Sure, why not?
I would have actually been more happy if Wonder Woman might have gone and get the file instead of him.
Well, that would have made more sense, right? Because she's not a detective. She's in the fucking...
Mm-hmm.
She knows what she's doing. But yeah, I don't know.
Or she wraps Waller with the lasso of truth. That would be cool.
I'm just really... she like put it on the table like as a threat. Like, bitch, I'll fucking get the truth out of you one way or another. I just feel like they're making Batman Tony Stark, and that really scares me.
You can't do that. That scares me too. I agree with that.
That's what that Justice League trailer is. That Justice League trailer is him as Tony Stark going around fucking recruiting people.
Yeah, it's that scene. I've heard a lot of people say it, and I agree with Casey. That whole scene in that trailer where he's recruiting Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, it's just like Tony recruiting Peter in Civil War.
Well, I would say, like I said, the Aquaman scene is even more striking to me because, once again, he's in a room full of people. You've got to be telling me one of those people in there has to know who fucking Bruce Wayne is. Like, no one knows who Bruce Wayne is, and then he's in here talking about, I'm looking for a man who rides the king's tide, blah, 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 blah. Like, just put him in the fucking cowl, and that, number one, that scene becomes instantly 10 times cooler. Like, you know what I mean? It becomes cooler when Aquaman fucking lifts him up. Because, like, there's a precedent in the comic for Batman going around in regular clothes and still wearing the cowl. Like, you know what I mean? Just to hide who he is.
Yeah, he should be shirtless, like the Denny O'Neil Batman.
Man, fuck, you're getting me rock hard just thinking about it.
Yeah, just his cowl, that's it.
Oh, man. Remember the sex scene?
And a pair of khakis.
remember the sex scene in the animated series where he, like, kept the cowl on?
I can't remember. It's been a while. I haven't watched them in a couple summers.
Maybe it's Mask of the Phantasm. One of those he has sex and the cowl does not come off, my friends. So I'm just saying, just fucking put him in the cowl. I know you had Ben Affleck there, but let's do this.
If you want a good Batman sex scene, just watch Batman: The Killing Joke.
Oh God, that garbage.
It was
talk about that garbage.
It was bad.
They should have just made a 30-minute short and just fucking done the adaptation at the end. That attacking on that Batgirl stuff at the beginning totally cheapens that whole fucking
I
dynamic.
was so excited for that. I think the Killing Joke, may be a little bit overrated, like y'all mentioned that last week, but it's still
really
iconic, and they kind of butchered the story.
The best thing about the Killing Joke is that last page. It really is. And I really feel like Alan Moore had the idea for that last page and then wrote a comic around it. Because the rest of it is just fucking abuse. And it's really hard to read now.
It is.
Anyways, all right. Well, that's our show. Brad, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at The Real Brad Bell, DREEL, Brad Bell. You can find me on my two podcasts, the Pop Culture Potluck Podcast and the Confirmed Epic Podcast, and we'll be doing a Suicide Squad breakdown as well. So if you didn't hear enough of me tonight talking about it, you can hear it later in the week.
Probably much more positive than myself.
I think we're going to be a little bit more positive, and we'll review it with my friend Jerry. And, of course, all those podcasts, including that Suicide Squad review, along with this podcast, will be available on GWW Radio at GWW, TheGeeksWorldwide.com.
Nathan, where can we find you and your amazing podcasts and work?
You can find me on Twitter. I am at Sith Nightmare, Nightmare with a K, so SITHKNIGHTMARE. My main podcast is That's Entertaining. You can find that on all the major podcast outlets. The Offshoot, the League of Entertaining Gentlemen, where we discuss comics. Actually, the latest podcast that I put out was our Suicide Squad discussion, so it was about 30 minutes or so just talking about Suicide Squad and what we thought. So if you wanted some more thoughts, you can check out That's Entertaining, our Suicide Squad discussion. You can also check out the PlaySomeVideoGames.com website for written video game thoughts and opinions of mine, as well as the podcast Play Some Video Games, the official podcast. So there you go. You can also find my show at Entertaining Pod on Twitter.
Damn, I love your voice. Thank you so much, Nathan, for coming on the show. We appreciate it, and you're welcome
Thanks
back.
for having me.
Anytime. You can find me, what am I? At the Comics Kid on Twitter, or at _GWW. Also, you can find the podcast at GWW Capes Crew. Make sure you guys are going to the GWW.com for all your movie, entertainment, comic book, video game needs and wants. If you want to be a contributor, we're always looking for writers. So just hit me up and we'll get you going. Brad, anything else? I think that's good. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed our Suicide Squad review, and we will catch you on the geek side.